rusted panel and unreadable nameplate on electrical equipment can indeed constitute a code violation. The National Electrical Code, specifically Section 110.12a, mandates that electrical equipment, materials, and installations must be free from recognized hazards that could potentially lead to death, serious physical harm, or substantial property damage. The presence of rust and an illegible nameplate can introduce such hazards. Section 110.12d requires that equipment shall be identified, including any required markings. Further, Section 408.1 states that electric equipment shall be installed and maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Section 408.5a specifies requirements for enclosures. Firstly, consider the implications of rust on the panel itself. Rust indicates corrosion, which weakens the structural integrity of the enclosure. This weakening can compromise the panel's ability to protect the internal electrical components from environmental factors such as moisture, dust, and physical impact. If the panel is not adequately sealed or structurally sound, it increases the risk of electrical faults, short circuits, and even electrical fires. Secondly, a rusted and unreadable nameplate presents a different set of challenges. The nameplate typically contains critical information about the equipment, including its voltage rating, current rating, short circuit current rating, NEM enclosure type, and manufacturer's details. Without this information, it becomes difficult, if not impossible, to safely operate and maintain the equipment. For example, if the voltage rating is unknown, technicians may inadvertently apply the incorrect voltage, leading to equipment damage or personal injury. Similarly, if the short-circuit current rating is unclear, the protective devices may not be properly coordinated, increasing the risk of a catastrophic failure during a fault condition. Furthermore, the original specification indicating that the panel should have been rated NEMA 3 introduces another layer of concern. NEMA 3 enclosures are designed to provide protection against rain, sleet, snow, and windblown dust. The absence of this level of protection, especially in an environment where these elements are present, means that the internal components are more susceptible to corrosion, contamination, and eventual failure. The combination of a rusted panel, an illegible nameplate, and the incorrect NEMA rating creates a scenario where multiple code violations exist simultaneously. To rectify the situation, the recommended course of action would be to replace the rusted panel with a new one that meets the appropriate NEMA rating, in this case, NEMA 3. This ensures that the equipment is adequately protected from environmental hazards. Concurrently, a new nameplate should be installed, clearly displaying all the necessary information about the equipment. This allows for safe and informed operation and maintenance. It is important to emphasize that electrical equipment should be inspected regularly for signs of rust, corrosion, and damage. Any issues should be addressed promptly to prevent potential hazards. The National Electrical Code serves as a comprehensive guide for safe electrical installations and practices. Adherence to these codes is crucial for protecting people and property from electrical hazards. Let's delve deeper into the specific aspects of these violations and the remedies for each. Firstly, addressing the rusted panel itself, consider the mechanism of rust formation. Rust, or iron oxide, forms when iron or steel is exposed to oxygen and moisture. This electrochemical process weakens the metal over time, reducing its ability to provide structural support and protection. In the context of an electrical panel, rust can compromise the integrity of the enclosure, allowing water and contaminants to enter and potentially cause short circuits or ground faults. To mitigate this issue, the rusted panel should be replaced entirely. When selecting a replacement panel, ensure that it is constructed from corrosion-resistant materials such as stainless steel or aluminum, or that it has been properly treated with a rust-inhibiting coating. The replacement panel should also meet or exceed the original specifications, including the NEMA rating. Secondly, the unreadable nameplate poses a significant safety risk because it deprives personnel of critical information about the equipment. The nameplate typically includes details such as the manufacturer's name, model number, serial number, voltage rating, current rating, short circuit current rating, and NEM enclosure type. Without this information, it becomes difficult to properly maintain and troubleshoot the equipment. To resolve this issue, a new nameplate should be installed that accurately reflects the equipment's specifications. The information on the nameplate should be verified against the original equipment documentation, if available, or by consulting with the equipment manufacturer. The new nameplate should be made from durable, weather-resistant materials to ensure that it remains legible for the life of the equipment. Thirdly, the discrepancy between the actual panel and the specified NEMA 3 rating represents a failure to provide adequate protection against environmental hazards. NEMA ratings are a standardized system for classifying the degree of protection that an enclosure provides against the ingress of solid objects and liquids. A NEMA 3 enclosure is designed to protect against rain, sleet, snow, and wind-blown dust. If the existing panel does not meet this rating, it is more susceptible to corrosion, contamination, and eventual failure. To address this issue, the panel should be replaced with one that meets or exceeds the NEMA 3 rating. When selecting a replacement panel, consider the specific environmental conditions to which the equipment will be exposed. In some cases, a higher NEMA rating may be necessary to provide adequate protection. In addition to these specific remedies, it is important to implement a comprehensive maintenance program for electrical equipment. This program should include regular inspections for signs of rust, corrosion, and damage. Any issues should be addressed promptly to prevent potential hazards. The maintenance program should also include periodic cleaning and lubrication of electrical components to ensure proper operation. The National Electrical Code provides detailed guidelines for the safe installation and maintenance of electrical equipment. Adherence to these guidelines is essential for protecting people and property from electrical hazards. It's also important to consult with a qualified electrical contractor to ensure that all work is performed in accordance with applicable codes and standards. Let's further elaborate on the implications of each of the cited NEC sections. Section 110.12 is a broad, overarching requirement that emphasizes the importance of maintaining electrical equipment in a safe condition. The phrase recognized hazards refers to conditions that are known to pose a risk of injury or damage. Rust and corrosion clearly fall into this category, as they can compromise the structural integrity and functionality of electrical equipment. The phrase likely to cause death, serious physical harm, or substantial property damage underscores the potential consequences of neglecting electrical safety. This section serves as a reminder that electrical equipment should be treated with respect and maintained in a manner that minimizes the risk of accidents. Section 110.12d addresses the importance of proper identification of electrical equipment. The phrase equipment shall be identified, including any required markings, means that all electrical equipment must be clearly labeled with information that allows personnel to safely operate and maintain it. This information typically includes the manufacturer's name, model number, serial number, voltage rating, current rating, short circuit current rating, and NEM enclosure type. Without this information, it becomes difficult to properly maintain and troubleshoot the equipment. The rusted and unreadable nameplate is a direct violation of this section. Section 408.1 emphasizes the importance of following the manufacturer's instructions when installing and maintaining electrical equipment. The phrase electric equipment shall be installed and maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions means that all electrical equipment must be installed and maintained in a manner that is consistent with the manufacturer's recommendations. This includes using the correct tools and techniques, following the specified maintenance schedule, and replacing worn or damaged parts with genuine replacement parts. The fact that the panel should have been rated NEMA 3 but is not, is a violation of this section, as it represents a failure to follow the manufacturer's instructions. Section 408.5a addresses the accessibility and use of enclosures for overcurrent devices and switchboards. The phrase enclosures for overcurrent devices and switchboards shall be readily accessible means that these enclosures must be located in a place where they can be easily accessed for inspection and maintenance. The phrase shall not be used as a junction box, raceway, or other enclosure for conductors unless the enclosure has been approved for that purpose means that these enclosures should not be used for any purpose other than housing overcurrent devices and switchboards unless they have been specifically approved for that purpose. This section is intended to prevent overcrowding and confusion within electrical enclosures, which can increase the risk of accidents. While the rusted panel and unreadable nameplate do not directly violate this section, they can contribute to a situation where the enclosure becomes less accessible and more difficult to maintain, which could indirectly violate this section. In summary, the rusted panel and unreadable nameplate represent a combination of code violations that pose a significant safety risk. To rectify this situation, the panel should be replaced with a new one that meets the appropriate NEMA rating, and a new nameplate should be installed that clearly displays all the necessary information about the equipment. Additionally, a comprehensive maintenance program should be implemented to prevent future occurrences. Adherence to the National Electrical Code is essential for protecting people and property from electrical hazards. Let's consider what steps to take for replacement. The first step in replacing the rusted panel is to de-energize the circuit. This is crucial for safety. Before beginning any work on electrical equipment, it is essential to disconnect the power supply to prevent electric shock. Use appropriate lockout/tagout procedures to ensure that the circuit remains de-energized while work is being performed. Next, carefully remove the existing panel. Take photographs before disassembly. Take note of how the components are connected and label any wires that need to be disconnected. This will make it easier to reassemble the equipment later. Once the old panel has been removed, prepare the new panel for installation. Inspect the new panel for any damage or defects and ensure that it meets the appropriate NEMA rating for the environment in which it will be installed. Install the new panel in the same location as the old panel. Securely mount the panel to the wall or other support structure. Then reconnect the wires to the new panel following the labels and diagrams that were created during disassembly. Ensure that all connections are tight and secure. After the wiring is complete, install the new nameplate. The nameplate should be made from durable, weather-resistant materials, and it should clearly display all the necessary information about the equipment, including the manufacturer's name, model number, serial number, voltage rating, current rating, short circuit current rating, and NEM enclosure type. Finally, energize the circuit and test the new panel to ensure that it is working properly. Use a multimeter to verify that the voltage and current levels are within the specified ranges. Inspect the panel for any signs of overheating or other problems. If everything appears to be in order, the new panel is ready for use. It is also important to document the replacement process, including the date of the replacement, the model number of the new panel, and any other relevant information. This documentation will be helpful for future maintenance and troubleshooting. Consider the impact of using a NEMA 1 enclosure where a NEMA 3 enclosure is required. NEMA 1 enclosures are intended for indoor use and provide a basic degree of protection against contact with the enclosed equipment. However, they do not provide protection against water, dust, or other environmental hazards. NEMA 3 enclosures, on the other hand, are designed for both indoor and outdoor use and provide protection against rain, sleet, snow, and wind-blown dust. Using a NEMA 1 enclosure in an environment where a NEMA 3 enclosure is required can lead to a variety of problems, including corrosion, contamination, and electrical faults. Moisture can enter the enclosure and cause corrosion of the internal components, leading to premature failure. Dust and other contaminants can accumulate inside the enclosure, interfering with the operation of the equipment. In severe cases, water can enter the enclosure and cause a short circuit or ground fault, which can result in equipment damage, personal injury, or even death. To prevent these problems, it is essential to use the correct NEMA enclosure for the environment in which the equipment will be installed. If the equipment is located outdoors or in a damp or dusty environment, a NEMA 3 or higher enclosure should be used. It's important to consult with a qualified electrical contractor to determine the appropriate NEMA rating for a particular application. Always prioritize safety and ensure all installations comply with the National Electrical Code.